Don't start yet, don't start yet. I haven't started yet. Okay, today I'm going to tell you a story. A story for your Christmas. And it goes like this. 9 months ago, it was the UOL revision period. And me, being a very not so studious guy, I decided to go on some last minute studying at Bukit Merah Library. So I was working. And guess what I saw? I saw a guy, a special needs guy. So let's call him Tom. Okay. So this is Tom. And here's what he was doing. He was trying to get a cat. And he was leaning against the crutch at the same time. This is the exact same place where I met him. And this is what he is leaning on. And on the crutch was a lot of plastic bags, all tied around his crutches, around the crutch. And with this crutch, the time was 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. Take note of this time. So this guy, Tom, he asked me for help. He wanted me to get him a cat. But being a very eager guy, I actually hesitated. I was reluctant. Yes, I was reluctant because UOL is very important. I need to study. But at this moment, somebody actually appeared to help him. And this person, no, he is not Superman. He is just another guy carrying a bag, something like that. It was a backpack. So he was carrying this bag, wearing a spec, and he went around asking and hailing taxis for the guy. But the problem is this 6:30 peak period. It was very hard to get a taxi. And furthermore, this period is the rainy season, and that time it was drizzling, and the rain only started to get bigger. So this guy went around helping Tom to get taxis, and at the same time there was this auntie. In her 50s, she was taking care of Tom. She works in a nearby Korean restaurant. But the thing is, as a last resort, the guy had to went to the main road to get taxis, because at the time there was no such thing as Grab Taxi, no such apps for getting taxis. The only way was to hail the taxi by hand. And the rain only got bigger. It became a storm. The guy, his clothes were drenched, the socks, the shoes were soaked. And on this day, the evil WC, what did he do? He only grinned like this. This was what he did. And as the rain got bigger, the guy took out his umbrella and shielded himself. Yes, he shielded himself. But it was almost useless because the wind was so great. His bags was all soaked. Fast forward, eventually he managed to get a taxi. It was after a very, very long time. All the taxis he managed to get rejected him for 3 reasons. Guess what? Number 1, the car boot was not big enough to put the crutch. Number 2, all the taxi drivers at the time, they claim that they have to change shift. And the third reason was the most shocking. The moment they saw Tom, the only thing that they did was, no, I don't want. You go and find somebody else. This was the only reaction that a lot of them did during this hour. The hour that Tom had to get home, had to go home, take a shower and prepare whatever things he needs. But all these drivers, what they do was to show him off. Why? Because he is a special needs individual. But eventually, that was still hope. One Malay taxi driver eventually stopped and decided to help him. Yes, Malay. Faith in humanity restored. So what they did was, together with the guy and the auntie and the abang, the 3 of them, they carried Tom onto the taxi and took him home. This is what I mean by a car boot that is very big, enough to hold the crutch. But this is not the end of the story. Here is the hard truth on this story. The hard truth is, a while later, I heard from the auntie. That same auntie, the auntie in her 50s. If Tom never get home that day, he will have to sleep on the streets. He is under special needs. Special aids provided by the touch community services nearby. So now I'm going to pose, like, you think about this question. If you were in this situation, think about it. If you were in this situation and eventually on a cold, stormy night, you were sleeping very cozy at home, but somebody else was had to sleep on the streets in a very cold, stormy night. If you think SIMLT is very cold, try making yourself wet and going into an aircon room. This is what happens on a cold, stormy night. And so the idea is, yes, so looking back at the time, I was very regretting that I have been hesitant. But the truth is, yeah, the person who is very nerdy and idiotic, standing in the rain, that was me. Yeah, it was me. I'm very idiotic. But at the same time, I was glad that during that 2 hours of time, I managed to actually help somebody. Today, I'm going to give you this question before I go off. if you were in given these 2 hours of time, and what actions would you choose to take during the 2 hours to add life, to add colors to your life, and what does choice means to you? Each of us has a lot of 2 hours. Make good use of it. I'm glad I did help someone. Thank you.